Millions nationwide are expected to take to the streets this weekend for the No Kings demonstrations. They're protesting the Trump administration's policies. Just take a look at this map right here from their website. This is where organizers are anticipating demonstrations. The group says it will be peaceful protesting, this amid escalating tensions over the president's crime and immigration crackdown. In our next half hour, we dig into how these protests may be funded.
Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? And welcome to another episode of Just the Guys podcast. I'm your host, Logic. Guys, this one's personal for me. I didn't start out thinking I'd be warning people about political movements. But as we go into this, after watching the 2019 Democratic Socialists of America convention, something like snapped in me. I said to myself, I need to do something. I was living in Baltimore. My baby was about a year old, but that's when I ran for office. And that's part of how we got here, from Metro Conservative Media to the podcast and everything like that. And just a couple of days ago, we saw on the debate stage Zohran Mamdani. He laid out a plan for higher taxes, bigger government programs, redistribution framed as justice, and he didn't whisper it. He sold it like it was gospel. And the scary part isn't that he said it, it's that a lot of people nodded along like it's common sense. So we've normalized socialism in America. We've softened the language. So confiscation sounds like compassion. We've let anger replace accountability, and grievance replace grit. I've been warning people about this stuff for years because I've seen how it starts. A crowd here, a policy there, then whole institutions bending to the new script. So tonight we're going to do two things. We're going to look at what Zohran Mamdani said and did the debate, the policy and the moral case they give to voters. And then we're also going to pull back the curtains on the DSA, how they build power, recruit, normalize radical ideas until they look moderate. So this isn't abstract for me. It's personal. I want you guys equipped. I want you ready. And at what point do we say enough? How bad do things have to get before we act? And if you ever sat back and thought something's off, this episode is for you. So let's get into it, guys. Today, right now happening are those No Kings protests going on across the country. You saw in the opening, they're all over the place, all over the country. And it seems to me like they're just trying to do like a repeat of what the No Kings protests earlier. CT, have you been seeing anything this week? Like, I mean, today, like, what have you seen in these protests? Are these like smart people, idiots? What's going on out there, man?
What's up, man? I just got off a live stream with a very, very, I think the man is a national treasure, a man named John Galt. He's actually in DC, and we were interviewing people that were going to the No Kings protest. And I gotta say this, man, these individuals, liberals, white, they weren't the smartest tools in the bunch, man. I actually talked to some of them. And, you know, one lady said, he's a dictator, man. The dick is for dictator. And I asked her if he's a dictator, why would a dictator allow people to confab and have a parade? And, you know, of course, nobody can ever answer a question in good faith or logic. When it comes to Trump, people start haywiring. Their brains can't answer anything. So I actually had firsthand experience today. I wasn't there, but the gentleman I was co-hosting was there.
Okay.
And it was a sight to see, good sir.
So what did you find most interesting about that?
It's almost like I'm David Attenborough and I'm looking at animal behavior and I'm reporting it as National Geographic. I live around liberals.
The wildebeest. They're like wildebeest.
When you really study the liberal, it's the same type of pattern of behavior and thinking. We had a lot of people who got upset at a lot of questions we were asking today. You have to walk on eggshells with these people, but these people have no rhyme or reason why they are protesting. They could just wake up tomorrow and say, we're going to protest I don't know where Melania is from, but we're going to protest people from that country just based off the fact that Melania is there. Anything is possible with the left. Yeah.
So what were you seeing, Gippy? Because were you on the panel too, or?
No, I was just watching his show, the live stream. Dude, they're morons.
Yeah.
No, like morons is mean to morons. Comparing them to like General Mill morons are probably better off. I mean, they couldn't articulate one exact example of anything. He has white privilege. He'd be like, give us an example of, well, you know how when he does things, he can do them. He says them the way he says. Well, that's his white privilege.
Now, how was the crowds out there though? Were they large, or what did it look like from what you guys were able to see?
Pop and spot of south of the National Mall area. They were in a spot that's high traffic area. You couldn't tell. It's where all restaurants and whatever are, but it was very busy because there were endless flow of people willing to sit down. But like there was this one guy who was a teacher talking about education and whatever, and you can clearly tell he doesn't understand how, even though he was fixated on how funding works, you can tell he clearly doesn't actually understand what he's fixated on. Like he only knows the talking points that they feed him in the teachers union.
Wow.
Very wild to see, man. These were professionals all touting their educations. It was wild, dude.
Now, soldiers, are these people deceived or brainwashed, or is that the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Can't reason with them. I like CT's analogy. I was thinking more Marlon Perkins, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. He used to fly over him in a helicopter and tranquilize him and then go down and study him. It might be safer actually dealing with the liberal, now that I think about it. But, or Jacques Cousteau, he used to do the ocean version of it, right? Go down in a little submersible and take a look at them. But basically, that's what it's like, because you're not going to be able to hold a conversation with a wildebeest or an octopus. And that's basically where we're at. These trained parrot-like responses, or you could teach an animal. You know, David Letterman used to have this segment called Stupid Pet Tricks. You could pretty much teach an animal to do certain things, like the parrot will respond, okay? The dog might clap his paw for, you know, certain things. And that's what we're seeing, man. We're not seeing any critical thought. Dictator charge, for example. They literally don't understand what a dictator is. Okay, and you have dictators that exist in the world today. For comparison, you could take a look at Kim Jong-un, for example, and you could say, okay, is Trump behaving like Kim Jong-un? No. Okay, so I don't know.
One can argue Kim Jong-un gets more respect from his population than Trump.
I would think so.
Body politics. Just
well,
saying.
Say one last thing. So I have a niece that's about to go off to college, and I'm in constant communication with her. I told her, do not let these fruitcakes steal your mind, and don't come back to this family gay. Because universities do that these days.
Yeah.
Okay, they steal your mind, and they turn you gay.
Isn't it ironic? It's supposed to be a place of, you know, they say higher learning, right? But expression, arguing of ideas,
intellectual enlightenment,
right? And it's literally become a brainwashing factory.
I mean, they always were. That's a misnomer.
I don't agree with that. Timbuktu was not a brainwashing factory.
Not Timbuktu, but universities, for the most part, in the modern day, have always, even before the social revolution in the 60s, before that, they were using them to create better Germanic style working intellectuals. Dude, it's the last time a university was actually a free thinking thing is maybe the 1700s. Since then, they've been using them to implement will of the state, in a sense, to keep the country progressing on a trajectory to keep up with technological progress, the industrial revolution that can't, like, dude, no.
Well, I'd push back on that a little bit. I think when they
method wasn't totally adapted for all of our school systems once we passed the Industrial
That's
Revolution.
true. That's very true.
On, stop.
That's
like
true.
These have been indoctrination machines for over 100 years. You can go back to the 1850s and argue that they're using schools and higher education to indoctrinate before they are to educate.
Well, I'll say this: when higher education was decoupled from religion, I think that's when it started, because
that's a long time ago, bro.
I mean, when did Thomas Jefferson found the University of Virginia? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Neither do I. I have to look. One sec. Let me look.
But those universities then were for higher learning and competing ideas, but they always were based on a moral foundation, and the freedom of religion was, there were just different versions of Christianity people were practicing, but Thomas Jefferson invited all of them to his university. Before then, pretty much almost every university that existed that had some religious affiliation and particular denomination. And
1819.
Okay.
And 1825 classes began, chartered in 1819.
Oh wow, that is a while.
Dude, I'm telling you, it has not, people misunderstand. It's not I don't mean it in a very, in a nihilistic way at all. I mean it in a very practical sense. We are not what we think we are. We're not in the spot in the timeline most of us perceive where we are. Dude, we had a brief respite from total chaos. Just remember what the first half of the 20th century was for the United States. Economic turmoil roiled in, the Industrial Revolution. They literally had to institute the Prussian method to educate the people so that they could keep the Industrial Revolution moving. Otherwise, it was grinding to a halt in America. The people were too not trained. I'm trying to be nice, right? I'm not trying to make it a nihilist, right? Like a negative statement. But the truth be told, at the end of the day, we have been using education, whether in free societies or totalitarian societies, to accomplish the goals of the state for over 100 years.
So speaking of that,
I agree with that.
So speaking of that, I do want to, because I have to always align this to a communist goal, right? So goal number 32 is support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of culture, education, social agencies, welfare programs, mental health clinics, etc. And that, it's not limited to these what's on the screen, but this just gives an example. And I bring that up too because particularly in New York, we talk about the No Kings protests. Like, how do all these people? How are these funded? What happens? Well, first off, you have all these socialist organizations who, if all these socialist communist organizations believe in unity and communal whatever, why are there so many of them? It's just it doesn't make sense. But I will give a shout out to our good friend Isaiah, because he was pointing this out, and I think this is very important to understand how communist this is. He said, to any of my friends or coworkers who might be considered going to the No Kings rally today, I say this: I know better than to think I could stop you from doing what you want to do. We're all adults, but you really should consider who's sponsoring this event before you align yourself with the actual enemies of humanity and your way of life. This event is sponsored by Communist Party USA, Democratic Socialists of America, the People's Forum, who were some of the freaks behind all those Free Palestine riots. So he's showing all these people that are anti-American and says your unreasonable hatred of Donald Trump is going to turn you into a member of the Red Guard. Y'all better think this through. And I think that's a proper warning, because I mean, the communists right now are feeding on hate for Trump. I mean, you guys are seeing it today at the rallies. Would you agree with that, Chaotic?
Yep. That's exactly what I saw today, man. I was shocked, man. Seeing it in real time, man, is really wild, man. These people really have a sheer hatred for this man, and they can't even explain it. I literally
articulate it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
No,
but
I'm just saying,
they
man.
can't articulate it at all.
It's like a hatred that they can't even. Hey, man, what did Trump do? Well, I don't really have it on. I can't really. One kid, he was a grad student. I forgot what school. Black kid. He said, Trump's policies or something, and he's causing so much division. I said, well, what policy? He said, well, you know what? I can't really give you an educated answer because I don't have that in front of me. I said, then what are you talking about then? What did he do? He just couldn't tell me, man. Now, he didn't have a visceral hatred like the whites did, like the white liberals did.
You missed, when you walked away, you missed these two ladies he brought up, John. And one of the ladies was a government employee on furlough.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
You saw that, right, dude? The way she answered stuff, man, you can tell she viscerally hated Trump, but she couldn't put words to it, even a little. Nothing. And it was like wild because he furloughed her. Yeah. She just didn't want to say it. She just didn't want to say it because they shut down the government, man, and I got to sit at home.
Well, I mean, that plays to how people don't know how government works, and because if you're out here still saying that Trump shut down the government, you clearly don't know how government works.
What's deeper than that? You clearly don't know how adult life works.
That's
because there are no guarantees. Okay, if you're in the corporate arena, hell, when I was in the corporate arena, we had a riff at least once a year. Okay, and after the first one, if you survive the first one, you don't worry about the rest. It's just like whatever. It just comes with the territory, and I'll just get another job. Okay. But the government employee has for so long been inculcated into the belief that this is a guaranteed job. Mm-hmm. Okay. That,
Yes. Again, guys, this is really what made me get, I've been thinking about like, man, how did I get into politics? How did I get into, this thing, right? So it's just, first I got married. That was the big thing. But then when I saw, this whole Democratic Socialist thing floating around. As a matter of fact, these clips have been, kind of resurfacing this week about the Democratic Socialists of America. Now, I archived all the footage from 2019. This was they did a public, they live streamed their convention, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be valuable one day. And this stuff started to resurface again. But here's where here's the clip that's kind of been going around or resurfacing this week.
With Zohran, we're in basically the.
Hold on, not that one. Hold on, where is it? Dadgummit. This one. No, that's not it. Hold on. All right, here this one.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege. Yes. Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronouns?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Was that real?
Over, I don't care. Like, it's terrifying. That's not funny. That's scary because they're about to take over the biggest city in the country.
So, well, they are. And you know what's funny about that?
They found one guy they can polish up, and he sings and he dances and he shucks and he jives real nice and he makes promises. But in 2 years, when the city's bankrupt and Wall Street has to move because the tax on making money in New York kills the market.
Oh, bankruptcy is the least.
Yeah, everybody will be happy. They got shiny new buses in the first 2 years. They did. They got.
They're not even getting that. Bankruptcy is the least of New York's worries with Mamdani. Mamdani appears smiling, arm in arm with unindicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center.
Yeah, I saw Laura Loomer's thing.
Okay, so here we got a city that is not even a half century away from the most deadly attack on American soil ever. Mm-hmm. Hawaii was not a state when Pearl Harbor was attacked. Okay.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Wow.
So you got that. You're less than 50 years away. You're 24 years away. And they've gone from that to this cat consorting with an unindicted co-conspirator of the first attack.
I don't mean to cut you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have cut you off there at the end, but it's like it's so I don't even know the right word, triggering, because they have the best word for it. Sorry. But dude, their whole side hangs out with co-conspirators of one awful thing or another. Like, dude, they're best friends with terrorists. They're Islamo-fascist army. Like, they couldn't beat conservatives head to head. They had to co-opt another cause's army. Made bedfellows with some of the most awful people around the world in the name of socialism and this concept that communism has never been tried. Like, dude, it's not going to be enough that places like Portland think that they're actually socialist or something like that. They're bankrupting their whole state over there, but they think somehow they're pulling off the socialist dream over there. We heard a lady from Portland be very proud of her city this week, like very proud.
What is there to be proud of? I mean, it's dirty. You're
fighting back against Trump. Anybody but Trump.
And you don't have people skilled enough to build.
They don't care. They think the government will figure that out, man. They think the government can figure everything out. Like, dude, you heard people just the misconception of how one lady said it was liberals are out, have little government in social causes and big government in economic, whereas conservatives are the opposite, big government in social causes, little government in economic, which goes to show you how little they understand how it works. All those liberal equality stuff that's getting pushed is actually big government and social causes, because it's taking the government to enforce all these changes and force it down everybody's throat, whether they want them or not. Whereas when the conservatives come off on it, they just want your local area to decide what's good for you and yours. And that's what lives. I don't know, man. To me, that's the biggest problem, is that these people don't even realize what they're doing anymore. They're completely indoctrinated without even knowing it. Like they have no concept that they're literally preaching the opposite of what's true. They speak with certainty.
Now, here's the part I think that's most scary to me, right? I mean, I think we're in the phase where there is that little bit of rebellion. We're in the rebellious phase since Trump got elected. I mean, that's the boogeyman right now. But I do think there is going to be a period where it appears like, oh, they're going away, or they're silent for now. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that because Zohran is running. I hope he loses. Or maybe if he wins, he may tame it a little bit, at least until Trump gets out of office. I don't know, but I think right now we're just kind of like in a rebellious phase. And I think it's important to recognize what's going on, because these people, this campaign hasn't just existed, right? The DSA and the Democratic Socialists have been around for a while. They have chapters in every state. They have meetings. Again, and in 2019, they had this national convention. They convened in Atlanta, Georgia. 1,000 people attended. And, back then they had $1 million, $2 million in the bank, according to their records. So I don't know what to expect, but maybe you guys have some better insight onto that. But I don't know. But I do want to warn people, because this stuff is consistently happening, and Trump isn't going to be there forever.
No, Trump's not going to be there forever. But what's about to happen? Wait until after the midterms. Then you will see the demonization of J.D. Vance start. Okay, then he will be the devil. Okay, they'll go back to his third grade class when he took a girl's ponytail and put it in a bottle of ink. And remember what they did to Mitt Romney? They said he bullied a guy in like 10th grade, and then the guy grew up and became gay, and they retroactively applied the homosexuality back to the 10th grade, and like made Mitt Romney, he was a gay basher. Okay? Right. So this is the kind of thing that you're going to start seeing with J.D. Vance soon.
Now I want to play this clip from Zohran Mamdani and get you guys to react.
But the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've put forward 2 proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
Okay, so notice that last piece he said, raise the state's corporate tax rate, right? He has absolutely no authority over what the state of New York does.
He said, I have to work with Albany. Again,
she's already come out. Kathy Hochul, who I like to call the buck-toothed bigot of Albany, she's already come out and
heard you don't know how to use a computer.
Say again?
I heard she told me you don't know how to use a laptop.
Yeah, neither does CT or Logic. We
just jump around it like little monkeys.
Right. So, and I'm just wondering how many New Yorkers understand government well enough.
They don't. We heard them today. The highest, most educated people. There was people talking about who went to school for public policy, have an advanced degree in public policy, have been in forms of public policy, and now want to seriously get into higher levels of public policy. Motherfucker didn't have a clue how public policy worked. Not a clue. Not even a drop of an iota of a clue. And he's been in the game. It's not like he's just it's not just that he failed. It's that even on the job, he's not learning it because they live in an artificially created bubble where they tell themselves one thing is happening while a whole nother thing is going on. The cognitive dissonance of people is insane. But dude, the guy promised that he says it up front. No one listens. And even the people who do listen, there's no way to exploit it to get it to push him out of victory. But he says it, I got to work with Albany because he can't give them free buses. It's not possible as the mayor of New York City. The state of New York has to subsidize the city in order to do it. How would the state do it? Well, we would convince the entire state to subsidize New York City's buses by raising the tax rate for the whole state, so that the city can have free buses.
Does Maryland do that already? Does Maryland do that already?
Communism.
Yeah, it's called the Maryland Transportation Authority.
Yeah, dude.
But it's not. What I'm saying is this stuff is happening. But I think Steven Crowder had like an undercover thing that he did this week or a couple weeks ago, where shout out to Kung Fu CJ. Hey guys, only monkeys litter with the $2 super chat. Who's also part of the Shamers Club. And guys, you can support the show by super chatting or joining the Shamers Club or doing both. We appreciate your help. Again, our mission here is to bring back shame. But Steven Crowder had an undercover, video of, I think, the campaign staffer of Mamdani. And I think he worked on AOCs and some others. But Mamdani is the face of the Democrat Party in New York. So it's almost like anything that he wants, because he has the support, their organization has the volunteers, and so they can make demands from Kathy Hochul. Have you guys seen that, CT?
No, I have not. No.
Let me do one thing real quick. First of all, Draco, you're right. The dog sealed the deal for Mitt. But the Wiser had a point. God forbid someone help the working poor, and said, but bailing out Wall Street isn't communism. I am still baffled that 2008 saw that Wall Street bailout. I think if you were going to take money to bail out Wall Street, you could have just paid the mortgages and bought that arrears up. That would have helped the banks too and allowed people to remain in their homes. So DeWiser, don't assume, ask, just pose a question. I don't think any one of us, and these guys can speak for themselves, are fans of corporate welfare.
Nope,
not even a little.
Let them fail.
Let all the banks fail. But again, dude, this one is the best. I'm 23 years living it. Yeah, he's just going to make it more expensive. I know you think that he's going to give you some magic trick, but again, let's just do the bus example. He needs the state of New York to subsidize his bus plan and change state laws, which will impact you negatively on so many levels. But yeah, keep thinking that someone's going to give you away a free answer to being broke.
So this kind of blows my mind because there's no middle class anymore in New York.
Keep that up, by the way. Keep that up. Sorry.
There's no middle class in New York, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. It's just like you have money or you don't. At least from the outside looking in. Go ahead, CT.
Can I get the large screen real quick?
Yeah.
A minute and a half. Vote. I don't know who you are. And I don't mean to be offensive, man. And I don't really like talking like this. You can't afford it. You can't afford New York. Bro, like, I hate to say this, man. This is something else I was talking to earlier today about. I mean, to the people today. Some lady, some recent college graduate, a black girl from I think it was Gimpy. Did you say Howard or Hampton? One of the two H universities. She was talking about
Howard.
She said that I would like to. I don't like Trump because something about he represents the haves and the have-nots, and I would love to destabilize the wealth gap. Vote. You got to work hard, man. That girl was supporting socialism, and it sounds like you are. Bro, maybe you can't afford New York, bro. Maybe you need to leave. Maybe you need to go to Rochester. Maybe you need to go to Buffalo. Maybe you need to go somewhere else, bro. This is capitalism. And I hate to be that brutal, man, but I'm sorry, Vote. Please forgive me. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Well, let me piggyback on that. Vote. I can't afford Miami Beach. So I'm not there. Okay. It's just as simple as that. Vote, I love the idea of private jets. I love the idea of that, right? You get on your own jet. You don't have to deal with the crying babies and all that. But guess what, Vote? I can't afford to travel that way. So, Vote, it sounds like you got this thing mixed up. It sounds like you think the world needs to conform to your pocketbook. If you can't afford New York, you need to get the hell out of New York.
I mean, those are adult decisions, right? I mean, only kids come up and say stuff like that.
No, dude, this is another one that demonstrates you don't know how it works, because before socialism even existed, governments paid for police force, roads, fire departments. That's actually the basis of why we have government, is to oversee the administration of the interactions between us, because we don't have the responsibility enough of ourselves to not need an outside body. Hence, that's what they call creating government as the start of modern civilization. I mean, if you learned history or did anything, you would know that this sort of nonsense is not how it works. Oh, the taxpayers pay for this. If you understood how it works with taxes at this point in history, you would understand that this isn't how it works. 90% of everything is subsidized by the federal government at this point. No city or state is living on its own without handouts and programs and grants for all these services. No one does it alone. No one can. It's not like the taxpayers run their own cities out of their pocket. The federal government prints money and we bring money back in to control inflation. There is no spending dollar for dollar of the taxpayers' money because we live in a deficit across the board. You can't do that. You can't claim that we do that and then spend $1 trillion more than we have. We are a currency issuer subsidized by the federal government, and you all just want more handouts. Just say it. Say that you want more handouts. You don't want to have to pay for things. You want the government to take the bill, and then accept the fact that you're going to vote for the UK, where you can't speak and you can't have rights because the government tells you what doctors you can go to, when you're allowed to have the surgery, when you're not. Ask any cataracts person in the senior citizen in the UK how hard it is to get cataract surgery. Something we take for granted here, for example. Sorry, go ahead. These people are imbeciles.
Gimpy, I told you I like going out to, bars. The wife doesn't like going, so I'll go out to watch a game or something. This happened last night. Man. I went out to a bar and they've made some changes and I don't want to dox myself, but they've made some changes with the barkeep. You can guess what change that is. I ordered some wings last night, and the wings don't come with fries, but I got fries. The girl gave me fries. The bartender gave me. She said, "Oh, I guess they, I don't know why they gave me the free fries, but it was packed with salt and other seasoning, and I don't like all that shit on the fries." But they gave me this. Gimpy, do you know what I said to her? I said, "Oh, I it's so loud in there. I halfway heard her, but I didn't hear when she said it was free. I knew that the fries didn't come." I said, "Oh, sweetheart, it's a lot of fries. I mean, it's a lot of salt and seasoning here." She said, "Oh, they gave you that for free," and walked away from me. She wasn't nasty about it, black girl. She wasn't nasty. But basically, she said, "We gave it to you for free. I mean, well, you didn't pay for it." So you are right, Gimpy. Under socialism, they tell you what to do. They tell you where to go, what doctor to go to, which hospital you can use. See, that's the terrifying thing. That young man, he's 23, or woman. Man, you don't understand the world yet, man.
Yep. Because once something free is given to you, you don't get to dictate. Y'all remember government cheese? Government cheese.
I remember government cheese. You had to have like a laser.
I hate to break it to you. No matter what, that's why they're all pissed. But you don't get to tell the government how you spend your welfare check. And the president comes along like Trump, who don't like welfare people, like you guys all say, and changes the rules for SNAP. And now all of a sudden you can't buy half the shit you were buying with your welfare bills before. Nothing you can do about it, man, because it ain't yours. You took it for free from the government.
Nah, I keep hearing about this welfare cheese thing back in the 70s, right? But I never seen it. But
man,
you can't miss it. Nuclear orange.
I'm pretty sure they didn't give you. I'm pretty sure they didn't give you a Kobe. What is it? Kobe cheese?
No. It wasn't even American cheese.
Right. It was like a block of orange.
Hey man, right. This
and
cheese,
grape drink.
This
you
cheese
can build a house with that cheese, bro.
I swear it had to be like leftover World War II military surplus. Okay, and it could double as a weapon. It could double as a blunt.
You needed it to. It'd save your life. If you could drill a hole through it and stride to a string, you could use it like a thing. It was like a solid block.
But look,
you didn't have a choice, though. That's the point.
The liberal mindset does not understand cause and effect. Okay, for example, the whole environmentalist thing. Remember, they went wild about, oh, you got to get an electric car because the electric car is going to save the planet. Okay, never understanding that liberals think that there's a unicorn behind every outlet. And when you plug something in, it contacts the unicorn's horn and magical energy just flows. Okay, they can't trace it back to a coal-fired or natural gas-fired power plant. They have trouble with connecting dots to understand things like infrastructure. Okay. So if they can't understand something as simple as that, then the young man here is 23. I think young man who didn't specify. So young person, 23, is saying that, something's got to be done because I can't afford New York. What? Well, maybe I should march over to Learjet and say, well, shit, you guys need to do something because I can't afford one. And y'all, something's wrong. Y'all need to make something happen for me. So the world, because they don't understand how it works, the entire planet, the system needs to stop and reconfigure itself for you.
Yep. But also, man, I'm not saying I have sympathy for these people, but I will say a lot of people don't have any other worldview. I remember my aunt, right? My aunt, she never left Baltimore, right? She was one of those people.
You mean like what do you mean?
She if you put her in the car and said, hey, we're going to Baltimore County, for example, because if you don't know the geography of Baltimore, Baltimore County is different from Baltimore City. Baltimore City is not in Baltimore County. So if you're in Baltimore City, she never left Baltimore City. If she was in Baltimore City and she was headed towards the county, I joke she would jump out the car.
Why?
Again, it was unfamiliar. It was her worldview. It was her comfort zone.
So she never got on a plane, never did any of that stuff.
Never. Now, ultimately, when she got sick, she finally left Baltimore and she actually moved to Kentucky with my other aunt. But it wasn't until dire circumstances, and this was when she was 60-something years old, that when she finally left. But she had her little routine. She's kind of with this, dare I call it slave mentality, because it's just like she get her fixed income. She takes the bus, goes down to the chicken spot, sits at the chicken spot all day, goes home. That was her day. That was it. Yeah. Her life. No outside, no other perspective. Nothing. Never saw anything. Didn't unlock the potential that God gave her, and that's what a lot of people get trapped in. A lot of these, let me just get it. Let me just have it. Because as soon as someone's giving you something, you belong to that person.
Yeah.
You belong to that entity. So the more this government is giving you, they're giving you food, they're giving you clothes, they're giving you transportation. So wherever the bus goes, that's the only place you can go.
Right.
Wherever they say you can buy food, that's the only food you can get.
Right. And
housing, that's the only place you can live.
And also, and I know you guys, Logic and Gimpy, will agree with me. Look, when you think of Baltimore City, okay, the Baltimoreans understand it as East Baltimore and West Baltimore. Okay, there are literally people who have never left East Baltimore to go to West Baltimore, and vice versa, let alone venturing out into the other parts of the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay. Really? Yes.
Now to keep it, to put it even in further perspective, Baltimore is a 9 by 9. Baltimore is 81 square miles.
Yes.
Dude, CT, people in Baltimore, there are neighborhoods in Baltimore that are filled, not just one or two, but filled with people who don't leave the neighborhood. The hospital's in the neighborhood, the courthouse is in the neighborhood, so they don't ever have to leave the neighborhood, right? Like for the stuff that would force you out of that life just normally, it's all in that neighborhood because it's a central neighborhood in East or West Baltimore. Dude, you have no idea how bad it is around here with that.
And the to take one of these people and say, we're going to DC, which is 50 miles south, it would be like you, Chaotic, saying, I'm going to Spain.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally.
Yeah, they prep like they were traveling the world, man. They would.
It's crazy, man. So hold on. Shout out to Kung Fu CJ. There was a super chat. $2 super chat for Kung Fu CJ. And that's why I'm in Georgia. I couldn't do DC. I mean, Maryland.
Yeah,
Maryland's becoming
this is another one that shows you that you don't know how it works. You pick countries that rely on total welfare benefits from the EU. You pick the 3 countries that hide it the most, but take the most. These are literally walking welfare states. Everybody there is controlled. They pay massive amounts of taxes. They have homogeneous populations. If they have any spikes in crime, the whole thing crumbles at all those times. That's why they're having all these problems with the migrants, because they bring crime. I mean, I can't believe that we live in a day and age where literally you can literally see these things live happening on your social media. And you don't understand. They themselves, these countries themselves, are begging for help. They had to create a video in some of these countries that you listed. That's a sing-song video about telling the migrants not to rape the women of that country. That's a real public service announcement message funded by these intelligent policies that result in the greatest prosperity for all. All you have is a nation of people who can't climb out of the bucket. They're all what's that? What you say? CT, crabs in a bucket, right? Like it's a nation of crabs in the bucket because the government deems it so. In order to guarantee a minimum lifestyle for everyone, no one can go beyond a certain point. And if you do, you don't fit in there anymore. They tax you into oblivion. They drive out the way. How many billionaires and millionaires come from those states? How many? No. Okay. Yeah. Those people are happier. Yeah. Because they're all white. They all live and think the same way. They have no diversity of thought. You come from a place that has more diversity in 1 square mile than they do in all those countries combined. And you're trying to compare what we got to do here for populations 10 and 15 times the size as like they have something. Dude, it's like saying your neighborhood is a state, is a whole country. Try and do that for your neighborhood, wherever you live, bro.
We've got a guy.
Hold on, because I want to go a little bit deeper into the DSA, because again, this is what really drove me into, like, at the time I wasn't conservative. At the time when I first started seeing this stuff, I wasn't on that path. But I want to show the tie-in and how, somebody said that Zohran Mamdani is an outsider. He's not an outsider.
No,
he's
been in city government for a while.
Right. So, but I want to show you that
he's a slumlord in Sudan, right?
Right.
That's funny as shit. He's a socialist here, giving you guys housing, but he's really actually a slumlord in his.
He's wealthy. The dude is.
Let me play this clip, because this is how tightly knit this Democratic Socialists and Mamdani are.
With Zohran, we're in basically the best possible position to seize state power that we can be in, because we're like this, right? DSA has regular meetings with him, let alone his team. His policy director is my friend. I've been working with his campaign manager for well over a year.
People come to DSA by way of Zohran. That's awesome. But then we can help them become more radicalized. So Zohran is his first step, and then all of a sudden you're doing all kinds of awesome organizing.
He said, I'm going to get socialists to vote for me, and I'm going to get Muslims to vote for me. Zohran himself, who's about to become the mayor of the largest city in the United States, is facing the same attacks that undocumented immigrants just trying to get a job at Home Depot are facing right now. We wrote the platform with him. The team was so happy to work with us on this. Now he's going to be mayor. There's no reason at all that we can't use telehealth and mailing prescriptions to people across the country to undermine state bans. Trans healthcare for every trans person in the country who can't afford it. I'm sure there are people who voted for Zohran who are transphobic, right? I'm sure there are people who voted for Zohran who don't have like the best opinions on other stuff. Muslims are now a voting bloc. That wasn't the case before. It was like non-educated whites, educated whites. I love election demographics, Latinos and Black voters. Now it's also Muslim voters.
What a fucking idiot. First of all, Muslims, has he ever heard of Minneapolis? Okay. Number one, Muslims are a voting bloc. Number two, he's talking about Zohran's my friend. Okay. And what was the other thing he said? It's so much nonsense. Another one of these fools. See, look, I'm a big advocate for a multi-generational household. I really am. But some of these people need to be kicked out when they're 21 and go out into the world and have to figure out how things really, really work.
Dude, he thinks that's how it works. Don't you understand? That kid has never left New York. The only time he leaves New York is to go on some socialist activism that's funded by the thing, so it's limited and it stays in the bubble. This kid hasn't had a free radical thought in God knows how many years. But ask that white kid if he ever heard of the word taqiya. Has he ever asked Zohran Mamdani about what that word means to him? Because for anyone who doesn't know what that word means, it's the established right of a Muslim to lie to anyone to enhance the goals of Islam, period. Hard stop. They are allowed to lie, kill, cheat, steal, whatever they tell you, it's okay because taqiya. They can just do it. They don't care. That's how it works, man. So this guy, the Muslims are finally a block. It's going to be hysterical. I mean, dude, we're all going to the camps, but it's going to be fun watching them get their heads cut off. At least I'll get to the camp before they get my head. These guys are all getting first.
Stalin eventually turned on the Bolsheviks. Nobody.
Oh, dude, first. Lenin started killing them. Lenin started killing them. It didn't even need to get to Stalin.
Oh, when Stalin came in, he
then he wiped them out.
Yeah, he wiped them out.
CT,
the
what
other
did you
thing,
see in that
real
clip,
quick,
man?
real quick, the other thing that guy said, imagine this now. He's going to do the trans healthcare. So you cut your dick off and I got to finance that.
Yep. That's the goal. CT, what do you see in that clip, man? Because, I mean, they're saying what they're going to do. They're not hiding anymore.
What do I see in that clip?
Yeah.
I see a room that, how can I say this to stay within YouTube's community guidelines? I don't think I should say this. I really don't. Maybe. I think I'm the wrong.
You can do it. Just think YouTube guidelines.
Is a MS when you need one. I'm gonna keep it there. Gonna keep it there. I'm gonna stay within you. If you just read between the lines, maybe, and that was a harsh joke, but and not to say that I really want that to happen. Where is a MS when you need one? I shouldn't have said that. You get what I'm saying, Logic?
Multiple sclerosis would take care of the issue.
Where is a
Oh man,
no. I really see a room full of idiots, man. I see a room full of idiots, a room full of people who are hell bent on destroying this country, city by city, man. So
guys, they want control, man. And the more we just sit back and watch, again, this is what inspired me to run for office. Yeah. This is what inspired me to just start saying, like, start this podcast, like start Metro Conservative Media. Popping politics. A lot of this is the basis of my energy behind these things. Is because there are these kids out here. They're these communists out here that want your kids, right? They're telling you what they're going to do with your kids. They want to mutilate them. They want to brainwash them. They want to raise them away from the parents. And I'm like, I can't sit back and watch this. And then the more I see, that's why the 45 communist goals are so important, is because they laid out the plan. It's just that it's like the whole McCarthy thing again, where when you say something, people aren't believing what they're seeing. But now the fruits are starting to show. I mean, you have this grassroots organization that has been in existence for I don't know how long, but they said this campaign for Mamdani started in 2014. Their campaign and their push to make these things happen, push this socialist agenda, has been going on for over 10 years.
Well, there's only one way to deal with it.
I take that back. I've had people threaten my life on the left. I've had people openly say they wish I'd die. I take that back.
Daily.
You know what? Where is a MS when you need one? I don't feel sorry for that, because they wished it upon me. I was over here thinking about that. I take that back.
I mean, they tried to kill Trump 2 times. They did kill Charlie Kirk. Golly.
Well, I'll meet you halfway with that. I got a lot of theories about that one, but yeah.
Look,
I'm just saying, like, what I mean is the acts of political violence, or the acts for the purpose, the acts of political violence aren't uncommon. Even if you look at the political violence rhetoric now, it's back to we're a democracy. It's back to let your rage fuel you, Abigail Spanberger. It's back to it's okay. Like, Trump's a Nazi, so it's okay to kill Nazis, right? It's back to that.
Yeah.
Not too long, like less than a month after we saw the assassination, and they're talking about toning down the political rhetoric. I just want people to understand that these people control the language. They're controlling the youngsters. They're generating the narrative, and we have to be, one, aware of it, but then two, be equipped to fight against it, to fight back against it. I want to play another clip, and I'll get you guys immediate reaction to it, because they're showing they're telling you exactly what they want to do, especially when it comes down to the family unit. And just watch this.
and on that revolutionary horizon, want to perform abortions in a church, but before it's all said and done.
The only real difference between marriage and prostitution is the price and the duration of the contract.
We can fight for family abolition, we can imagine family abolition because we have seen Black women do it, because we have seen these indigenous communities do it.
YouTube, that is me frying fries. That's not what you think it is. It's me frying fries. That's frying fries. I don't want you to think I'm doing something else here because I'm not. After I saw that, I wish that I could fry some fries in that room right now. Yeah, just frying some fries.
Because you're still hungry because you weren't able to eat the fries from last night.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube, I'm frying fries. YouTube, that wasn't what you think it was. After I saw that, go ahead.
Dude,
did y'all hear what he said? It's kind of a mashup clip, and I apologize if the video was kind of choppy, but they said. And this is why I harp on the Black community also being a way to save America. And whether you believe me on that or not, that's what it is. But she said they were saying they were advocating for abortions in church. That was one. And they're saying we've seen the breakdown of the family unit because we've seen Black women do it. We've seen people of color do it. We've seen the indigenous people do it. So they're using Black people again as a trend to infiltrate their communist ideology. Now, as soon as Black people start rejecting this, I think that's when we'll see a change. But until then, the communists are Dude, it's always using Black people.
No one is rejecting it till it's too late now. We're too far. This is what I keep trying to say. You're making a statement like there's an opportunity now to reverse course. Let's try this again. Barring a miracle from God, the largest, most richest city in America is about to be run by an Islamo-communist. A guy who believes in global jihad openly, stands with a co-conspirator of a terrorist attack on the city he's about to be mayor of. Like, we're not at a point where people get to reject it. They're not going to start rejecting it till they feel the pinch in 2 years when them shiny new buses turn broke. Right? Like, there's a whole new fleet of buses as the city's crumbling around them. The roads can't be driven on, but they got the new buses, and everyone gets to ride for free. Crime-ridden, police-free, social. How many social workers get shot that first year when he reduces the police force to social workers with tasers? I'm curious, like, dude, all the things he says, just follow through on all his promises. They're not going to notice till it's too late and the city's burning.
Fine, good. I want to see the grocery stores. I want him to establish that.
Dude, I could just go. Dude, they have video of that at the end of the Soviet Union. You can see what those all look like.
Oh, I know what it looks like, but apparently not enough New Yorkers know what it looks like. So I want that. I am actually pushing for Mamdani. I wish that I could go up to New York and vote for him because I actually want to see this happen. This is like NASCAR. You really don't go to NASCAR to see who wins. You go for the accident.
Crash. Yeah, dude. And, but the biggest city in the country. Sorry, go ahead, CT.
I was going to say something real quick. Yeah. Has YouTube gotten so good with the algo that they could pick up on a joke or they could pick up on something? So when I did that fry cook thing, it wouldn't let me write that in the chat. It wouldn't let me write that room needs a fry cook right now.
I wouldn't doubt.
Are you using StreamYard or are you typing on
StreamYard? No,
I'm StreamYard's filter. StreamYard has a whole separate.
How would it know what I really meant?
It doesn't matter. It has AI embedded into the chat, reading all of it.
Yeah, but these two guys.
StreamYard has its own independent algorithm filter,
right? And these two guys don't see AI as a threat to their jobs, but that's a show for another
one even better one, dude. YouTube will let things through in the YouTube chat, and they won't show up in StreamYard, and YouTube will block shit, but it will still show up in StreamYard.
How would the algorithm know what I meant, what I truly meant?
Because we're not being told about the depth of this technology.
Damn, that's pretty good.
It is.
That is really good. So I know you guys caught on to what I was saying.
I mean, listen, CT. I know we've all had this experience where we've literally been thinking about something,
and then it comes up as an advertisement.
Ad for it.
Yep.
That happens too often to too many people for it to be happenstance.
Man, I got
advertising several times, and I was even on the phone before, and that's happened before. I could be talking about, damn, man, I really want a cupcake, something random. Then I get a cupcake commercial. I'm like, God, what? Like, what? Yeah.
And for those who think that this is crazy, check out what happened with Neuralink this week.
I'll have to check that out. But yeah, man, y'all don't download these apps, man. If you got Facebook, don't download it.
Should we edit that?
You have Facebook on your phone? Do you have Facebook on your phone?
No, I don't.
I do.
No. Should we edit that part out?
Dude, I have Verizon, so they have my whole phone already. Verizon, if you use them as a carrier, they're looking at your phone the whole time.
Yeah, it comes to a point. It comes to a point where it really doesn't matter. They're going to get you some kind of way. Okay, the surveillance state is going to get you if you carry. I mean, your phone. Okay, notice how you can't turn it off anymore. It's always on. Okay.
You can't pull your SIM card. They made it that you can't pull your SIM cards anymore on most phone models.
Right.
But like here, this one is an entertaining one because again, this shows how little this one guy understands how the world works. It's more likely that an armed group of Antifa comes for these three before the white supremacists come for them.
Oh, you're the white supremacist.
That another black man.
Dude, it's not even that. It's more likely that a leftist comes to get these three because of what they think, because they're not on the thought plantation, than a right-wing white supremacist. The right-wing white supremacist might spit on them, might call them names, whatever, but the violence will come way before from the left because they're breaking the uniform mind that they're supposed to be a part of. I see it all the time. Like, dude, I hang out with these guys and I'm the outside face that doesn't mix in there. And I am telling you, dude, these guys get shit from their people for just not thinking like them all the fucking time.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I don't even know how to, E.K. Wambus or whatever, can't even really express himself in a thoughtful manner. Just name, it's like fifth grade stuff, par for the course, right? So you got to pay less attention to people.
One was funny though.
It was.
Dude, this is hysterical.
And, it is funny, like a clown. Like a little court jester. That your humor.
So let me ask to those in the chat, like, what is it about Mamdani that you're so gung ho for? Like, what is it about?
Give them affordable housing, free busing. He's going to tax the rich to pay their fair share. He's going to convince all the rest of government.
I want them to answer.
He's literally going to shoot rainbows out his ass in the end, and skyrocket socialists to the top of the food chain from the bottom, all in one step. He's going to do what AOC promised.
That support Mamdani are young people. Like the one kid who said he's 23. They're young. They want free shit. They don't understand how the world works.
I mean, but even at 12, bro, I didn't want anything free. I didn't like 12, 13. I had to go work for my pair of shoes as a 13-year-old because I could buy them. I could pick them.
Yeah.
I'm in middle school. I'm outside cutting grass.
Yeah, you don't have that anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
To earn my money.
Right.
Because then with my money, I can do what I want with it.
Dude, see, this is all they have. Stupidity like this.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
This is amazing.
No, it's not really.
But I found one of my old college notebooks. I took a sociology class, and believe it or not, like that was actually my favorite class. Like just kind of understanding how people think and just whatever. Like I guess social groups think, even just understanding group think. Now in my Jim Rohn era, where just start learning business, is like trying to understand why people do what they do. Don't sign up for that class, but I still find it pretty fascinating. Like. Because sometimes you might learn something. Sometimes, you might see a different perspective. But it's like what is it about having somebody give you stuff that makes you free? What is it about someone who, like, what ability to control, like what agency do you have when someone is giving you stuff? Whether if it's food, what's now your agency? Do you get to pick what you want to eat?
No.
If it's housing, like, what agency do you now have? Do you get to pick where you want to live? Like, to me, what's the benefit of that? What is the benefit of not being able to make your own decisions? What is the benefit of that? And one thing, like, I want to see people win. Like, that's probably my favorite thing. Like, I love to see people, like, those videos, I like watching track, and you know, those people that fall down and somehow win the race. Those are like my favorite videos to watch. It's just people get back up and overcome an obstacle and hit the goal. I love seeing people win, and there's nothing more exciting to see than someone overcoming whatever that limiting belief that they have in themselves, whatever that is, and seeing them achieve. Seeing my son learn, how to add, seeing him figure that out for himself, and now he's able to hold on to this idea. So government is literally treating people like kids that they don't want to grow up, and you guys are advocating for it. I don't want to grow up. I don't want to be free.
You guys are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah.
All right. So before you get to self-actualization, you have esteem needs, okay? Accomplishment, right? But if you can't move past that, because either you, for whatever reason, you have no accomplishments, okay? You desire prestige, but you don't know how to achieve it. You can't move past that into self-actualization.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of folk that are stuck, right beneath that at an interesting stage. And I would encourage everyone to look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because the stage before you get to the esteem needs, the stage before you is love and acceptance. Okay. And that's one thing that the left, at least initially, does very well. They make you feel like you're accepted. Like, it doesn't matter what you do or how you behave, you're accepted. We love you. Okay.
Is that love though, soldiers?
It's not, but it can be easily mistaken for such. And so you never get, you got a lot of folk that are caught at least one whole stage before they can achieve self-actualization. That's what you're seeing here. You wouldn't want rent relief if you had achieved self-actualization, because you would have some accomplishments that would enable you to go out and afford rent somewhere. Okay. Maybe not again in Miami Beach or Beverly Hills or Vail, Colorado, or where does Obama live? Martha's Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have some accomplishments that you could ladder up to self-actualization on. So you got a lot of people that are stuck before that stage.
Man, just a random thought. He said wearing a varsity jacket, saying this shit probably only made it to JV. I recommend he at least go through our short.
The butthurt Mamdani brigade in the chat tonight is very entertaining.
Yeah, but hold on. I recommend going through the shorts on this channel, because y'all remember when Mamdani did that little Ben's Day thing, and he lifted up 105 pounds.
Yeah. No, he didn't. Actually, he had.
And he couldn't lift it up. I got a short that I did. And you guys should check it out. I put myself side by side with Mamdani, and I mean, you be the judge. I mean, you be the judge. I'll leave it right there.
But again, what we should do is because these individuals are going to get what they want in terms of Mamdani being mayor. They're going to get that. All right. But check in with them subsequently and see if their lives change as a result of that.
Dude, I can't wait till there are no more supermarkets except the city supermarket inside the 5 boroughs of Manhattan, New York City. That'll be fantastic.
And I'd like to just pose this so they can think about it throughout the term of Mayor Mamdani. So if your life isn't improving, who's at fault for that? Is it Mamdani or is it you?
But I mean, I do think that I think we're in dangerous times, though, because this is America's largest city that's almost about to get a socialist mayor. Do you not think they're going to, at least initially, push that around to every city in the country? They're going to promote it. Socialists win. Socialists win. They're going to promote. Like, I can hear the headline now. Socialists
already.
Win.
How do you think they got Mamdani? They're doing it already.
Now, so speaking of that, hold on. So you're right. You're right. Hold on. I do want to play this. I want to play this. I want to show you just one thing.
Good morning, socialists. My name is Khalid. I'm Councilman Khalid. I first want to say that some of you may have read in our local paper, the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, some members of the Democratic Party of Georgia issuing an unwelcome statement to all of you. In the article, they basically, a chair of the party basically said that socialism has no home in the Democratic Party and that we should, in effect, go back to where we came from. Well, my name is Khalid. I was born here in Atlanta, and I am an elected socialist.
Active securities, we don't want to put people in stressful situations that they don't consent to, right? And we have to be accountable to each other that our actions might have negative consequences for other people.
I think we all believe in from each according to their ability, to each according to their need, but I believe that in practice this would end up being a resolution that is from those who are able to those who are able.
Please do not talk to anybody who identifies themselves as a member of the press without having credentials. Don't talk to cops. Don't talk to MAGA assholes. We're almost there. But thank you.
Just keep in mind that this event is, in all actuality, quite public. We are live streaming. The press are here. We are before the world, and we want to put the foot of socialism forward, in the best way possible and create more socialists.
Look, put this in some historical perspective too, right? What was this guy's name? You might want to look it up. Victor Bergen, I think it was. Anyway, 1910, Victor Bergen, I believe that was his name. It's Victor something. He won as a socialist. Okay. Socialists have been out there trying to, do their thing for quite some time. And if you look at it on a historical level, look, they don't even have a major party. And we could take it back to 1910. You can actually go a little further back to the 1890s even. Okay.
One of the goals of the Communist Party was not to really create a party. It was to infiltrate one or both of the parties.
Okay,
so they have the Democratic Party
to successfully do that with the Democrats.
Yep.
Victor Berger. Okay. But you do still see some resistance. I think they're losing it because
there is no resistance. The acolytes of the party are standing silent in fear of saying anything. That's how you know they won't run the party. AOC is the mouthpiece of the Democratic National Committee now. She is the one who speaks with the most weight. Out of all the power brokers, none of them can stop what's going to stop. Schumer is quiet. Jeffries is quiet. Pelosi took the knee. Hochul endorsed this guy. Please, it is over. They own their party. Yep. They are the next. And as soon as he wins, they take the keys to the castle. They demonstrate that they're the future. They have the youth vote, and they run the show on that side of the boat from now on. And they'll claim they're doing it for everyone with everyone's name on the list, but they're doing it just for themselves to advance their own unique in-group subset, and everyone's going to get left to dry when the money dries up.
So what should we be doing?
Say again.
So what should we be doing?
Name them enemies of the state.
Well, I think that, especially these young people, the Soviet-style block apartment and the Soviet-style grocery store. I mean, again, is that what? If that's all they want, then they may be able to achieve that, because this is all about minimums, right? They'll have to be comfortable with the Politburo living lavishly as they always do. Okay. And if you're not able to compete in society, you're not going to be able to compete to get into the upper levels of the Politburo, just like you can't get, just like you can't afford to live in New York City now. Okay. What do they think was going on with Brezhnev and Andropov and all these guys? I mean,
live in tenement style housing where a floor of people who are strangers share one bathroom.
Right. And those guys, Brezhnev, Andropov, all of those, they had, oh man, several dachas, right? Just living like, you know,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
So CT, man, what's the solution, man? What should we do? And other than frying fries, if you got anything more.
To take the more peaceful route, I think that, or I believe that we have enough people within the population, at least, to maintain a hyper-capitalistic society. Yeah, I know New York is pretty much the center of the universe, but I don't see this country ever becoming a socialist country. We have too many people like ourselves who love capitalism, and we want to live around certain people. We want to choose where to eat, what kind of car you want, what kind of transportation you want. I don't think we have that many people that could change the course of history and just to become a socialist. I don't think we have it. We could have it. I don't know. I just don't think we have it.
Yeah. Gippy.
So that just leads. So there's this dude who went on like Howard Stern, claimed he was way back in the day. You might remember who this is. I forget the guy's name, the time traveler. And he always claims, and now he claims like it changed enough. But
Riley Martin.
Yeah, he claims that the country breaks up after a short, intense World War III / Civil War. And yeah, if what you're saying is true, you can't hold the whole country. We're good, dude. They're literally about to lose New York.
Like, New York is going to shrink in population for sure. So what's going to?
But it doesn't matter. If they can take hold of the financial, like that city is the financial center of the country.
Yep.
The stock market is that. Dude, once that moves out, the whole city collapses. When they move the market out of New York City because it can't withstand whatever the socialists are doing to it, right? When the New York Stock Exchange and all these exchanges decide Wall Street isn't worth it anymore, that cripples that whole thing. And you have no idea where that domino stops tumbling. You tell me that that's something that's anticipated, that they would have to up and move all of Wall Street to another location.
But didn't they say they were already moving Wall Street?
Listen, we did a whole video series on this. The NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, they've set up operations in Texas. They're moving more personnel to Texas, the Carolinas, and Florida. Okay, all the big banks.
Where are the trading floors?
All of the investment banks. We don't need trading floors anymore.
I mean, that's where all the money moves.
Listen, this is my stock and trade. No pun intended.
I'm not saying it's not.
The NASDAQ does not have a trading floor. Okay, this isn't trading places. Okay, all of these transactions are prosecuted electronically. All right, and you can move that operation to another state. The NYSE is already working on it.
I'm not saying they can't move it. See, that's where me and you are not having the same conversation then. I'm saying that when you do that, that is a seismic shift. That first of all, that will destroy that state. That state will crumble because the financial markets are what prop that whole state up there. They are the key economic. It's not like they're building anything there or they have like some sort of outside of service economy. inside New York. That's outside of the city, maybe, but the state is going to get hammered for that sort of revenue because all of them based there, they all have tax revenue that flows through there, money flows through their income, all that disappears. And you have no idea where that domino stops tumbling. That was never anticipated, to literally have to yank it out, not to outsource, move away operations. And they can always say they're on Wall Street. If you have to say we had to leave the economic center because of socialism, that's way different than, we're building stuff in Tennessee and Texas to augment what we do so it's easier and cheaper.
Understand, they have been moving slowly, gradually.
Yeah.
In fact, Texas, JP Morgan has more employees in Texas than they do in New York.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And part of the reason why this has been happening is because of high taxes and high cost of living. You don't have to pay someone in Dallas as much as you have to pay them in New York City.
You will, though, after it becomes the hub.
Maybe, because again, what we're seeing is not a wholesale relocation to one.
But that's what I'm saying.
We're
is
seeing
when you get forced
relocation to the Carolinas, Texas, and Florida.
But again, if all those places start getting flooded because you have a widespread of the Mamdani effect, as we're all talking about here, all people like us up and move. If Maryland goes too far left, none of us can stay here.
You're right.
If Ohio went too far, none of us will stay here. We will move. However we do it, we will get out one way or the other. We'll take the hit. We won't take it. It depends what's going on, but we won't stay here. And we will all go concentrate in those areas. And these areas will just turn.
I don't know about concentrate. I mean, where I moved to, it might have a little bit more space between houses.
I'm talking about where he says states. Like it'll end up being Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Utah. States will get packed with conservatives and they'll move away because they can't control. They're losing in the voting block. So they'll just take their money elsewhere like conservatives do. The wealth, all that will shift away. They think that they think we're not the ones investing in the economy. They always talk about blue states carrying the load, red states always being. But again, our biggest oil industry things happen in red states. Massive money making thing there.
So I think Dr. Oz came up with
prepared for it. Like that's all I'm pointing out. Like we think that these things won't have these. We're just saying that the whole status quo is going to be thrown up on its head, and we'll just shake it off. It's not going to be limited to fallout in New York City.
So I think Dr. Oz had a creative solution for what we need to do.
Now, I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably right. There are going to be a lot of Trump babies. I think that's probably a good thing. But it turns out the fundamental creative force in society is about making babies. It's about creating. And this country, the one that President Trump is leading so beautifully, has been a country of abundance, not scarcity. To have abundance, you have to address the fact that we had 3.6 million babies last year, which is beautiful. 3.6 million miracles. That's 500,000 less babies than we would ideally have had, even to replace our current population.
We need some Trump babies. That is the solution. So Tyrone, Gimpy, Chaotic, man, y'all got to get to work, bro.
I do want to make something clear based on the last conversation. These financial institutions have been leaving New York for a while now. I want to be fair. That's not happening because they heard Mamdani might win. No. That's been happening because of taxation, regulation, and cost of living for a while.
That being
said, Tyrone, are you making babies, man? You gotta make some babies, man. That's the solution.
How many do you have?
2.
Oh, okay. So I guess you fulfilled your quota, my man. What about you, Chaotic?
I am not having children.
Got you.
Yep, and I have a lot of reasons why.
Okay, Gimpy,
we're working on it, me and Yana.
Okay.
Trump babies. Have some Trump babies.
Okay.
That is the solution.
We don't want more chaotics running around. The world can't handle it.
That is the solution, guys. I mean, I don't know why y'all don't think having babies.
It's not. there are a lot of solutions. And, one of the reasons why the West has gone immigration crazy is because of lower birth rate. What they're really doing is trying to import a tax base to keep the Ponzi scheme like Social Security going. That's what all of these entitlement programs cannot survive as these populations get older. So this is why that's happening for the most part.
My thing is that I understand all the, so my point is clear. I understand all the movement out of New York of corporations, especially financial institutions, to more friendly, but having to pull your base, you're saying that you no longer can do business in New York openly, right? Which is going to come when they drive everyone into tax insanity inside the city. Forget about the whole state. You just won't be able to do business in the city. Like when that happens, those dominoes, once they start falling, who knows where that stops? Because people are, by the time that happens in a real effect, people have bought on to whatever Mamdani is selling there and in other places. And it's going to start a whole series of events in all those other places too. So that's what I'm just trying to be clear on, is we don't know how far him doing that. If he would have become of Little Bend, Indiana, or whatever it is, that's one thing. But the biggest, most powerful city in the country, that's.
I don't want to give him undue credit here, because New York has been insane for quite some time. I'm reminded of
still the biggest, richest city.
I'm sorry.
It's still the richest city.
Man,
it may be. It's still insane.
Man, I do think you guys are. I mean, at least you, Tyrone, are diminishing what's going on.
No. Let me finish my thought here, and then you guys can tell me I'm wrong. Mamdani was not even being mentioned when New York City created this new ordinance to impact pizzerias. They said they had to cut their emissions
with
wood or coal-fired pizza ovens by 75%. Okay. Now Mamdani was nowhere in sight when this draconian.
How do you know?
Legislation was
it's older than his campaign.
Yeah, it's older than his campaign. It's older. Yeah, it's older than his. Go ahead.
The socialist movement. He's been involved with this. I mean, they've been building this.
So Mamdani,
Mamdani's a face.
It's a broad agenda. We're not going to sit here and make Mamdani.
Yeah, but he's a linchpin
that is responsible for everything from JFK to the pizza oven, emissions.
No, okay? That's not what anybody's saying.
He's one.
Yes,
aspect.
He's a linchpin. Yeah, but no, he's a linchpin or whatever, the watershed. That's the word I'm going to go. Watershed moment. He is the watershed moment by a democratic socialist, literally open communist, Islamo-fascist type character who openly supports terms like global jihad and stands with known collaborators for terrorism, including terrorism on the city he's about to become mayor for, right? That's a watershed moment when you willingly, as a population, vote for your enemy, because he says he'll give you free shit. You know how dumb that makes the people in New York City? Literally, for free stuff, for answers to problems, instead of move and make the city change by you taking your dollars elsewhere, leave. Instead, they're going to beg for their enemy to give them breadcrumbs.
But I'm thinking we're underestimating the level of deception that's happening right here. I think there's a level of deception that has happened, and for us to even get to this point, I mean, y'all saw the convention, the clips that surfaced, and they're like, you gotta not use gendered language in their convention. They found somebody that could articulate their vision, smiles like a devil when he says it.
Yeah, he does.
And these are the ones pushing him up. Like how can two, like what is it? How can two walk together unless they agree? Right? They're in lockstep.
Yeah, but what we have to also, and this is why I brought up the pizza oven thing, is because it's not like he's becoming the mayor of Boulder, Colorado, okay, which is often thought of as, one of the most conservative, not Boulder, Colorado Springs. It's not like he is becoming the mayor of a conservative or purple area. Look, it is what it is. He's becoming the mayor of
deep blue.
Does anybody remember Bill de Blasio? Okay. Who, by the way, his real name is Warren Wilhelm, but that sounded too blue blood for Korean Democrat politics, so he changed it to
William
Billy de Blasio from the Bronx.
Right, but
yeah.
Again, my point to you is that that's the part that makes it a watershed. It officially moves blue in this country so far left that it's not a Portland thing anymore. It's not a West Coast socialism thing anymore. It's literally voting for a guy who sits and stands with a known conspirator for a terrorist attack of massive scale of the city he's about to be mayor for. A man who says globalize the intifada, who's unashamed for his positions that he takes that are 100% counter to American ideals. And I'm just saying, and he does it. He gets them all to do it by saying, "I'll give you something for free. I'll give you a shiny bus. I'll make a supermarket." And all of these kids are so desperate for relief. And again, that's our own fault as a nation that everyone's so desperate for relief. But this guy's promising freebies to vote your enemy into power. That's like that Simpsons with the two aliens.
Yeah.
Running for office.
And the thing is they have these, they're located in every city across the country. Every city. Now, again, in the clip that I just showed, Atlanta, a socialist council member. I mean, if you go even in Baltimore, you got these Green Party and whoever. They're Ryan Dorsey. He's a socialist. Like all these people all across the country. Now you have a mayor. The linchpin, watershed moment, whatever you want to call it. This solidifies the Communist Party all across the nation.
Okay, but let's look at it from a devil's advocate standpoint. You guys know that disaffection, okay, people feeling like they're not able to navigate a system will lead to a political change, possibly, but definitely a lot of dissatisfaction. Okay. And if you're dissatisfied, this is where we see, I mean, you can go back and look at post-World War I Germany. You can go and you can look at, any number of countries that said with Italy, okay, we're dissatisfied, so something changes. Look, guys, look, the average house in the United States of America costs $522,000.
US debt.
All right. We have $38 trillion in debt. Gold hit $3,400. It's a good chance gold will reach $10,000 in the next 12 months. And that's not a good thing, by the way.
No,
even
that's
if you own gold, okay? Because gold tells the truth.
No one can afford to buy it from you after that.
Well, not only that, you can't afford to buy much of anything because gold is basically gold's purpose as an asset is as a hedge against inflation. So what it's doing, it's preserving your purchasing power. So as things get more expensive, gold is saying, all right, I got you. That loaf of bread is $10,000 now. So gold is $100,000 an ounce. That's how it works. So we've got a lot of social, but more importantly, economic dissatisfaction. And if you look throughout history, it's always been that economic factor, at least in the modern era, that has caused these things. And for anybody who wants to look at Bush, Obama, Clinton, Trump, listen, this thing has been damn near, I would take it back to 1913. With the establishment of not only the Federal Reserve Bank, but the income tax. Okay. This thing has been over a century in the making. There are a lot of presidents and policymakers that have brought us to the brink of national financial insolvency.
Yep.
Okay. And so that is breeding. And you mix that with a bunch of people who think history began when the day they were born. They don't know who the hell El Duce Mussolini was.
Yep.
They can't put these pieces together, and they just know, hell, I can't compete in this system. I can't afford to live here. I'm pissed off. I need a change.
Yeah.
And so they'll take whatever.
I get it, and that's where we are. But again, Mamdani, I think, is a charismatic leader. If you watched the episode last week, communism to me embraces the spirit of the Antichrist. And Mamdani, he's leading the charge right now. He is the minister of the Antichrist movement. Let's give you everything, state control. Right now they're doing it by the city, but state control. And I think that influence is going to be felt across the country. Go ahead, Kay, at it.
Well, I don't know if he's leading the charge for the Antichrist movement, but I do believe that socialism is an existential threat to any population of people, man. And I can't, me and you had a conversation, man. I can't stand a socialist, man.
Yeah,
I can't, man. I really wish I could report them and get money for it.
We used to could.
Yeah,
bring back McCarthy.
Yeah,
dude, I am telling you, man. Somehow we've been captured by the communists since the 20s, since the 1920s. They've been defeating us because every time we try and root them out, they find a way to turn the American public against those people. Yep. It's insane.
So there's this kind of, I forget which martial arts it is, but there is a strategy that the KGB uses. And it is like when you're fighting, let's fight. As you have your momentum, right? The kind of the strategy is to use the momentum against the person throwing the strike.
Aikido,
right?
Aikido or judo.
Yeah. So yeah. So just keep the person until they hit a wall or keep going in the direction that they were already going, right? And that's kind of like the strategy that these people are using, because when you look at it right now, it's the hate Trump angle.
Yeah.
Let's keep people going in the direction of hating Trump until they hit a wall. So now you got all these no king protests. People can't articulate what's going on. Racism. Let's keep black people hating white people to the point where, okay, let's get a free nation and there's nothing we can do. Black church, white church, whatever. Right. And this drives this wedge. They play on that. So you're already going in that direction. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And we're going to help you with that movement.
Can I tell you, I'm going to be open about this, and I'm not trying to be funny. You ever ran across someone who has a childhood traumatic experience, like, somebody was touched or something, and that affected them? And I'm not trying to make light of molestation. I had a very traumatic childhood experience. And one of the reasons why I hate socialism is because that was one of my worst experiences. I was at a camp called Camp Hiram in Northeast Ohio. And my mom and dad, they gave me, I think, about $100. Now, this is 1996, maybe. So they gave me about $100 to put towards snacks and shit outside of the food that they give you at this camp.
Mm-hmm.
So we could go to the little store and get like little ice creams, yada, 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 right? So because I was gonna be there for 2 weeks. Some of the kids there, I guess, were poor. I didn't know that. I thought, because you had to pay to go to the camp, but I swear they had like a program for poor kids.
Yep.
It's called Camp Hiram. I'll never forget this camp. About 4 or 5 days, I can't remember how many days. I go into the store and they told me my balance on my card. And I said, well, I know I have more money than that. So I went to my counselors. And looking back at it and remembering these ass wipes, they were liberals, and I remember how they looked. They were do funny guys, liberal women, and I said, "Yo, what happened to my money?" They took my money and used my money to pay for snacks for other kids.
Mm.
I said, well, that's not fair. Why did y'all do that? Now I'm 12 years old. I can't beat them up for stealing my money. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Like, well, such and such doesn't have any snacks, and we just felt. And they took my money and maybe some money from other kids and bought other kids money. They said, you don't need all that money.
Mm.
That was the equivalent of me being touched as a kid. That was traumatic for me. Maybe I shouldn't have said that like that, but that was traumatic for me. That's why I hate socialism, because I felt so powerless at the time when it happened. I couldn't beat the camp counselors up. I couldn't fuck them up.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason, Logic, why I really hate socialists.
I mean, all you need is that one experiment. I mean, but it sounds like these people protesting.
No parents, they got no money. Shit, I work harder.
Yeah,
tell them to work harder.
Yeah,
my parents gave me $100, which back in the day probably, I don't know, was the equivalent of $200. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why should I have to share? Why should I have to share my goods with you because your parents didn't work hard in life? If you wanted something from me, maybe you could have just asked. But the fact that these adults did that,
a king.
Man,
it's crazy how these people protesting for no kings will make a decision, make an executive decision like that for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the irony in this is crazy, right? These people out here protesting. No kings, no kings. I don't understand history. And literally, we fought the American Revolution to get away from the crown and the king, right?
You don't even have to go back that far. You can go back to 2020. The same people out there protesting are the very ones who got down on bended knee when the government told them they could not bring their asses outside. Okay. When the government told them you got to shut down your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to leave your job, okay? And property owner, guess what? You got to let these people stay here for free. Yep. And when we get around to making you whole, we'll get around to it. These are the same people that did that shit, and now they are out in the streets, some of them, because it's not a lot of them. A million people nationwide. Well, there are 325 million people in the country, okay? These are the same people who voluntarily acted like serfs. Okay, subjects.
Man, so we about to get out of here, man. I think it's a great talk, but again, man, I this inspired me to run for office. I don't know if anyone else, again, you get that call to do it. I ran for office back in 2020 in Baltimore City. Ran as a Republican in Baltimore City for city council president. And it really was sparked from me seeing that Democratic Socialists of America. Go ahead.
Before we leave, you are a father, Logic, of young children.
Yep.
Could you imagine your kids telling you, hey, Dad, the camp counselor took about 15 of my dollars and bought poor Timmy some snacks? What would you say?
No, I'm going down to the counselor.
Are you putting hands on the counselor?
If we have to get there, if we have to get there.
And it's not because I don't look at it as it is thievery. It's that socialist bullshit. That's why I'm looking your ass.
Yeah,
it's thievery.
All right, so one more thing, because just real quick, I want to get you guys' immediate reaction to this. I saw this on the news. This past week also was Charlie Kirk's birthday, as well as he was presented with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. But the NAACP did not like that happening, so they issued their own celebration that day, which was to celebrate George Floyd, because it just so happened George Floyd and Charlie Kirk had the same birthday. So the NAACP says George Floyd should be here today to celebrate another year of his life. Today we honor him, his spirit, and the life he lived. We remember him, carry forward his legacy, which is questionable, and continue the fight for the justice he deserves. His life mattered, and every action towards equality keeps his memory alive. And hold on, before you guys respond, there was an event in Kentucky that they took to the streets to celebrate this.
In downtown Louisville, community members gathering at Jefferson Square this afternoon to honor George Floyd on what would have been his birthday. The event, organized by the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Oppression, served as both a rally and a remembrance tonight. Co-chair Tyra Thomas Walker says the group is celebrating Floyd's life while continuing to fight for justice that began with Breonna Taylor.
Our narrative is that we're still fighting for justice for our people, for everyone. Everyone should be treated equally. But we're here right now remembering George Floyd, who had a life, regardless of whatever. You know, we have them out in every family, no matter what his past was, he was still a human being.
So, I mean, CT, thousands of people showed up.
I want you to do me a favor, Logic. I want you to pretend that this is a crack pipe and I'm smoking crack. Okay. Gimpy, a few weeks ago, you were there. I did a video. I did a video about a black guy that was smoking crack inside of a Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking crack, and it's on there. He's smoking crack. He's disheveled looking. He wasn't bothering anybody.
He tried to get into the bathroom to smoke the crack. And
he wasn't bothering anybody from my perspective. This is a Popeyes in the deep hood. I mean, abandoned buildings, everything. It was streets, Gimpy. Remember, it was streets with one house on the damn street. Every other, it was just an open land. This is in Michigan somewhere. I forgot what place it was. City. Gimpy, remember how everybody treated that crackhead? The black chick who was pregnant got to beating them down with a slippery
wet
floor sign. Bow! Get your crackhead ass out of here. Bow!
I mean, to her defense, she looked pregnant, and he did blow the crack smoke at her.
What's worse, eating the Popeyes or smoking the crack? So here goes the thing. George Floyd's death, though tragic, you can't convince me that these people have ever gave a damn about a crackhead until the white media or liberal media told them to do it. Black people, for damn sure, ain't never cared about no crackhead. And that video and that Popeyes, I know it's only 5 or 6 people in there that were treating him bad, but I was the only one, Gimpy, and I'm a conservative, I think. I said, man, let him smoke crack. And the whole damn neighborhood.
The whole argument is that it's safer for the public if you let the crackhead smoke the inside the Popeyes. Yeah. He's not out on the street terrorizing.
How come those black women weren't compassionate towards him? And that same black woman, right in that video, Logic, Soldiers of Finance, Skippy, she'd exploit a crackhead in a minute. If a crackhead, if she needed her car washed, she'd tell a crackhead, come over to my house tomorrow about 5 o'clock. I'll give you about $3 to wash my car. And she'd pay him $3 and probably give him a beer and send him on his way. The black people ain't never cared about no crackhead. Now that's, come on, man. I wish I could go to the NAACP. I'll set them niggas straight. They don't care about no crackhead, man. Stop.
Tyrone, what do you say to the NAACP, man? I mean, it's the same. They did this intentionally, right, to get you to hopefully ignore the Presidential Medal of Freedom being presented. So, what do you say to the NAACP soldiers?
Well, to the NAACP, I say nothing because they've been irrelevant for many, many decades. I prefer to focus on, since we have gone through this thing in the Middle East just a week ago, I prefer to focus on a man of high accomplishment. Okay, Ralph Bunche. He's the first person of color to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for actually negotiating an armistice agreement in 1949 between Israel and 4 Arab states. So if you want to build a monument, I would like to see one built to him, and there are plenty of other people. I cannot believe that we have monuments to Freddie Gray, and to George Floyd. You know, you build a monument to somebody when they have accomplished something, okay? Not when, look, as CT said, look, man, the whole thing with the way he died, all right, that cop was wrong, all right? In my opinion, he stood there on his neck far too long. That was egregious to me. However, that does not elevate you to monument status. As far as Charlie Kirk, look, as far as these medals and all of this stuff, I like to see some time go by. I like this. I like history to kind of inform the situation in a holistic manner before we start building, you know, monuments to people or bestowing accolades on them. That's just me.
Jimpy.
So I'll tell you something, Tyrone, you'll be very, very satisfied because your request will net one singular result. In 1,000 years, in 100 years, when they teach about this time, they will never teach these people want to be taught. If we learn anything from the modern day, we should learn that they are going to pick apart every aspect of everything that we claimed was righteous and holy. So they're going to go and they're going to point out, we were so stupid, they made a crackhead a saint.
Yeah.
A saint. They're going to sit back and say, humans of this time, we're so far advanced from those monkeys. They're going to go, right, and call us all out. They worship nation states. We're now on 3 planets. These people are all morons. They didn't know what they were doing. They were still eating cows. I mean, you know, they hadn't solved world hunger yet or cured cancer, but they're busy calling criminals and thieves and leaders and saints. And dude, I promise you, history is going to devour the last 40 years and lay it bare that future generations will never be deceived by what we are.
I agree with that.
Just by you can learn it from what we're doing to our histories and all the artificial revisionist histories. It will never stand the test of time.
I agree.
I hope this serves as a
Uh-oh.
can come back and find the archive footage and pull up Just the Guys, you know.
I hope they pull up the episode where we get reason to admit that he let his boss hit himself in the head, you know, hit him in the head with a brick if it was in
I'm about to find that. I'm about to find that, bro. All right, but go ahead. Closing thoughts, man. Tyrone, man, what you got going on this week?
You know, so just finance. We uploading all kinds of interesting videos. We've been talking about you know, this whole thing with Letitia James. Okay, now we got the indictment of James Comey, but then here lately we got this indictment of the latest one.
James?
John Bolton.
Bolton. Right. So we're debating whether or not they're going to indict his mustache separately. We shall see.
I heard his mustache is an alien artifact.
It may be. I think I heard it tried to escape custody, but they had to go chase it down and handcuff it separately. But we're looking at that, and we have our live stream Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. CT's live stream came up as a topic of discussion on our live stream, and people were asking me, well, why don't you do 7-hour live streams? And I said, listen, and this is exactly what I said. I said, Chaotic is rich. Okay, I've got to work for a living. And in his off time, he's asking people whether or not he can get cracked crab or lobster. I'm eating tuna fish. Okay. So that was my explanation for why I can't do those long live streams.
That's crazy.
Chaotic truth, the hardest working man on these YouTube streets.
Right.
There you go. Hey, Gimpy, closing thoughts, man. Final thoughts.
As always, only monkeys litter.
There you go. CT, man, what you got going on this week?
It's live streaming, man. That's pretty much it. You know what? It's my birthday on the 20th, so
okay.
Happy birthday.
What are you turning 837 this year?
41, man. 41.
Okay.
Right on. Brother.
So
shout out to CT. Happy birthday. Make sure y'all are you streaming on your birthday?
I am.
All right. So make sure you check them out on October the 20th, which is Monday.
Over a year, yeah, man.
Yeah, because you did the Papa Politics show a couple weeks before your birthday last year.
I remember, yeah.
Oh, Wow, it's okay.
God damn, dude, this year went by.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's October now, right? October.
Yeah, dude, this is a crazy year too.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to do a recap episode of all the Dark Horse. We're gonna have to call it Gimpy's Dark Horse.
Dude, it's been crazy, dude. The No Kings protest is another clear demonstration, dude. Cities all over. I was just looking at during the show. There are massive turnouts in the cities. Not everywhere, but in the cities like New York, Boston, Alabama, a city in Alabama, Atlanta.
Are they going on through the night?
What was that?
Are they going on through the night?
Some of them were still going, but I'm just looking through at what was going on.
You might have to check to see if some bricks were laid out somewhere. I mean, because once socialists get together, man,
I think that they're going to be. See, I think they find themselves in a unique position where they realize peace is as way more effective than violence right now. Because if they're violent, Trump can call martial law.
Well, that's the interesting thing about socialists and communists, man. There's actually two schools of thoughts when it comes to communists. There are the violent revolutionary types, and then there's the peaceful takeover types. And those two are in battle with each other. But you just kind of have to be careful. I just don't put them past either one of them.
And let me say this, okay? We're in an era now where we cannot believe our eyes.
Nope.
You're right about
Will Smith was castigated. He had this concert in London, and he kept showing these big crowds, right? Go out there and find this. It's out there.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah.
When the crowd was examined closely, they were AI images. Okay, so I don't know how we navigate through this, but definitely do not believe everything you see. AI video is at a point where it is extremely difficult to tell that it's not reality.
You know what's even crazy about the AI video stuff too? They're making it low quality to make it seem like it was recorded with like a phone, like
on the phone. Yeah,
it's crazy,
dude. The worst part of it is that citizen service equals citizenship is the only answer. I'm sorry, like I hate to be the one that says it out loud every time, but to correct these problems, you need digital ID for the internet. No more anonymity there. You have to have registration for entities on the internet. You have to regulate it, because without it, we behave like animals. It's proof. You see it all the time. We use it. We use every advancement we get for the worst possible need. So if you want to correct it, one side's just going to seize control. That's what they're exactly trying to do. They're trying to do their version of service equals citizenship. And if we're not willing to meet them on the same, they win, because they're more committed than we are. If we're just trying to preserve what we have, you guys are going to be sadly mistaken on how that doesn't work. You're not going to save it if you're not willing to meet them head on with the same level of investment. And they're willing to, if they get uppity, we have to be willing to call martial law. We have to be willing to sacrifice rights for a while. Like, that's the sort of stuff it's going to take, because, dude, they are willing. They make it clear. They tell us they're willing. They say it to our faces. I'm just saying, listen to your enemy when they tell you what they plan to do.
Yep.
Yeah, but when you get into suspending rights, that can get really...
Yes, it can, but they're going to do it. And they don't care about that conundrum.
You got to be careful, because when you start talking about suspending rights, especially the Second Amendment,
Dude, I agree. That's my whole point. I agree with all that worry. But the fact is that's what they're willing to do. And you're not going to just be able to hold the line. We've been trying to do that the whole time, and we've just been slowly, at most, you slow the bleed. We are a far more polarized country than we were 25 years ago.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right, guys, I am going to challenge everybody to just, get involved. Again, this whole thing about these socialists, these movements, that's really how I got involved, why I got involved. Because ultimately I wanted to protect my family. Ultimately, I wanted to, just protect my neighborhood. I also protect my money, because I'd rather keep it. But show up to a school board meeting. Show up because they're there. Show up to the city council meetings. Start speaking up because once you start seeing this stuff, you can't unsee it, and that's pretty much where I am right now. But again, just do one small thing. Just show up. Show up. You got a city council meeting this week, go to it. It's virtual, online. I'd rather you go in person, but just show up. School board meeting this week, show up. PTA meeting, show up. And that's really how we can fight back. And also ultimately our goal is to bring back shame. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.